So going forward, if you were going to select a model to tinker with, if you're an
Hmm.
engineer,
Yep.
you'd be almost foolish not to use the Deepseek model, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can download Llama 3 or Minstrel and then use their framework to do additional refinement. Be dumb to not do that.
Welcome to Practical AI, everybody. My name's Jeff. I'm here with Peter Lynn. Practical AI is sponsored by Pocket AI. Pocket AI is a tool used to edit the weights of your model. With Pocket AI, you can prune over 60% of the weights of your model while increasing accuracy. Peter, today we wanted to just kind of touch a little bit more on DeepSeek, and I'm going to try to share my screen, hopefully. And the couple of lawmakers have decided, I guess, that they are going to, on a bipartisan level, they're going
Mhm.
to try to, what is it? They're going to keep DeepSeek off of government um,
Right.
devices or something like that. I think this happened with TikTok too, bipartisan
Yeah.
support for this. So tell us a little bit about, this type of government level intrusion into these things and this, if it's justified for DeepSeek, in your opinion.
Well, I mean, it's so in my opinion. There's several YouTube videos that talked about this in greater depth, but basically the gist is they want to pass a law that prevents DeepSeek from being used in people's devices and specifically government devices at first, but it appeared that the language was more far-reaching than that, so that average people like you and me would have to pay fines if we used it, which is a bit too kind of big brothery for my taste.
Yeah, so this is Josh Gottheimer, Democrat from New Jersey, and Darren LaHood, Republican from Illinois. And they say the Chinese Communist Party has made it abundantly clear that it will exploit any tool at its disposal to undermine our national security, spew harmful disinformation, and collect data on Americans. So, is it true that they're collecting information and all that? I mean, this is always where this
Yeah,
goes, right? It goes straight to like, end of days. Is it
right.
true that they're collecting all this information and huge
Good
security risk?
question. So I would say if you use the DeepSeek website, we don't know, we can validate. But people did validate the mobile app over the last couple of days. And so they found a couple of things. One is, number one, the traffic is not encrypted. So that means it's anyone could read it. So if you're out at a coffee shop like Starbucks or whatever, and you log into the Wi-Fi and you use the chat app on your mobile phone, anyone can see that traffic. So that's good because we can verify. So people looked at it. It's not encrypted, and they're sending just what they claim to send, which is good, right? If we compare that to when Facebook first came out, when you install Facebook, it would download your entire contact list. And it did that for like I think a year and a half or 2 years to Apple say, hey, Facebook, that's not allowed. You're not supposed to steal people's entire contact list and upload it to your system, right? So with OpenAI, I think I have the app installed. It uses encrypted traffic, so we don't know if it's using Apple's API to scrape personal information from your phone and sending it up because we can't verify.
And this is true of like every device. I mean, Apple,
Yeah.
iPhone, and everything. There's just a ton of information that they're gathering. But I think the argument would be, at least with Apple and OpenAI and Facebook, those are U.S. based companies, and they're not the Chinese Communist Party. Um, so as far as the model goes, maybe the model is gathering some information, but at least the app is going to have a hard time doing that since it's not encrypted.
Right. And so the nice thing is it's completely open. You can tell what it's doing. It's not doing anything more than it claims to do. And if you wanted to see, you could just install a network sniffer and know, like, okay, is it sending it? Right?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about open, right? Because we've got other truly open AI, open models, right?
Mhm.
Mistral being one of them. And explain to us just a little bit the difference between DeepSeek and Mistral. Obviously, DeepSeek has probably really outperformed Mistral, even though it's multiple versions of it out there, forks and
Right.
people tinkering with it and training and refining and all that. But what's fundamentally different? Why is just in terms of being open, but also in performance?
So they're both open. In my mind, they're both equally open. The reason why DeepSeek could spend less money was that, well, one, you're in the US, so you can actually use H100s. And two, Minstrel uses some public and some private funding for training. And so, and two is, well, three is they don't have experts in the deep NVIDIA stack. So the low level TPX stuff, they're not experts at it. And so they couldn't write that piece, right, to optimize the training to lower the cost.
The
Um,
Mistral team,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
right. Well, because if you realistically, there's only maybe 100 people that know that level. Like John Carmack, the famous guy from id Software, he wrote the first 3D shooter. He's a total expert at 3D stuff. He knows the low level stuff. But how many people know that level? Very few, right? It's like when Kaparthi started his little project with CUDA, he asked like, "Well, how hard is it?" Well, it turns out it's very hard.
Right. And so what the this we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but so the DeepSeek guys, one of the improvements that they made over competitive open and closed models is that they sort of circumvented CUDA, which is the software that NVIDIA stack, you
Yeah,
need to run on CUDA in order to use NVIDIA. And they sort of did an end around and they went into sort of a lower level language or
yeah.
series of languages, VTX, is that right?
It's a PTX.
PTX,
Yeah,
PTX. And so they went basically, the way I look at it is they kind of hard coded
yeah,
around onto the NVIDIA software at a really, really low level, which got them tremendous speed, right?
yep.
Because they're much more efficient. But that's just one of the things, right? That makes them different than
Right.
Mistral in this example, right? What's the other one that makes them a little
So
bit
the other
more?
one is so Mistral is also using things like distillation, right? But the difference is the DeepSeek team were able to change the training routine so that it didn't need human intervention, right? So that's that aha moment where the model self-improved. So they improved on the training kind of algorithm so that rather than just letting transformers run, they injected some additional logic to say, all right, okay, let's look at what's actually happening and let's focus on just those things. All right, so anyone could have done that, but no one did.
Does that help the engineer during refinement, or is that only a training advantage? The original
It's a
training.
training period. So the base foundation model and the refinement both.
Okay. So going forward, if you were going to select a model to tinker with, if you're an
Hmm.
engineer,
Yep.
you'd be almost foolish not to use the DeepSeek model, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can download Llama 3 or Minstrel and then use their framework to do additional refinement. It'd be dumb to not do that.
Yeah. And then comparing those two to DeepSeek, which one would you choose of the three?
I mean, right now, DeepSeek is the better model. So,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Seems like it.
Yep.
All right, so back to these politicians that are trying to save the world one censorship at a time. We don't really know what Washington will do and what sort of
Right.
um, panic they'll get in. Is there any indication what this the new Trump administration where they're headed with this?
It's a good question. So I think there was a lot of rumors last year during the election that uh, the administration said, "Hey, look, we don't want you to fund any more startups because there's only going to be three, and then we're going to control those three."
This was the Biden administration at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think several people, I think Eric Schmidt said that, Andreessen said that, and a few other people all said that they had a meeting with the administration and they said, by the way, stop funding startups. There's only going to be three. We're not going to control them. And so obviously that didn't sit well with the Silicon Tech Bros, and they decided that we're not going to back that basically because that's not their thing.
Yeah, it seems like at least my guess is that there probably will be arguments for safety. Safety seems to be the cudgel that everyone uses to pound
Right.
us into submission, right?
Yep.
So 100% of Congress people, senators, and even the president are probably going to listen to that story. Um,
Right.
However, to your point, it seems like the tech bros have sort of gotten behind Trump more than Biden, probably because of this sort of control of the industry. Now,
Yeah.
if controlling Deepseek would help the tech bros, maybe all bets are
Exactly.
off, right?
Yep. Yep. Well, I mean, if you're a tech bro and you just spent a couple $100 million funding the person in the office, you're gonna want to use that advantage, right?
Yeah,
So, and you'd be a fool to not. So,
yeah,
yeah, ultimately, DeepSeek will probably see some roadblocks, but it's open source, so they can go suck it.
yeah.
It's
I'm with you
open.
there. Yep.
Because if
All
we
right.
don't
Well,
use
this is
it,
good.
Europe will use it. It
Oh
will
yeah,
be left behind.
someone's going to use it, right?
Yep.
Well, it's put it this way: if they stop DeepSeek, people from using DeepSeek, there's no guarantee that Facebook, OpenAI, and Google aren't going to be using DeepSeek to figure out
Oh,
how to
yeah.
improve.
They're already using it. They're
Yeah,
already sticking the code, so it's done.
exactly. Cat's out of the bag. All right, Peter, this is a good talk. We'll post that article. I couldn't get it to screen share, but we'll post it up so that you can look at it. Remember, you can also follow us on Spotify if you just want to listen to these episodes. And we will be back next week with another topic. Take care, everybody. We are sponsored by No. We're,
So